Do you have a sad story? You know, sad stories about your childhood or something that happened to you or through you in a relationship. This might be a long one. Do you have a sad story about someone who was unfaithful to you? Perhaps a sad story, as so many of us, Black, Brown, Asian, Spanish people do when it comes to the way we were raised by our parents. Beautifully, but perhaps a little traumatic, a little controlling, a little absolved of your own free will as a human being with your own rights. Were you perhaps inappropriately treated? I have stories too. We all have stories. Here's the big question. Do you let those stories live through you? Or do you actually look at them for what they are and then go, what is it about this situation that has me not living my life to the fullest? And what can I do differently as an adult? Here's the thing about sad stories. They are a challenge or an experience that you had. As horrible as they might be, they're still an experience, something that happened to you in the past. An example that we can all use and reflect upon is if someone was unfaithful to you in some way, or if you were unfaithful to somebody else. But let's just keep it one story at a time. Someone was unfaithful to you. It is horrific. It is traumatic. It is something that you go through. The question is, the next person that you date, do you hold them hostage to the experience you had of being cheated on and make them pay penance for what happened to you? Or do you say, I was cheated on, that was not good, that is a horrible situation, it made you feel a certain kind of way? All of these words and all of these feelings and thoughts are absolutely valid. Here's the quintessential moment that defines who you are as a person, as an adult, that's looking to understand what this experience is. Is there something to learn or to teach from? And how do I take that information, apply it in life, and move on with your magical, most fabulous life? Because this is the most difficult thing that so many of us just don't know. And sometimes you can say it's lack of capacity. Most of the time, it's just a skill set that was not shared, something you didn't learn. And part of being an adult is recognizing, oh my goodness gracious, I am responsible how I choose to live my life. I am responsible of how I choose to solve these things and either identify as this specific challenge or situation or learn from it, apply the lesson and move on. So something as simple as being cheated on, which is a horrible thing to experience. There's so many factors to recognize. Did you choose this person? Is your ticker off? Do you know what your values are? Your core values? What's important to you as a person? How do you show up as a person for not only yourself, but everybody else? Do you know how to establish a boundary? And this isn't anything to do with blame. It's about learning the tools and the tips as a human being that allow you to investigate with a curious eye challenges and situations that you and I experience every single day. And we can either be tethered and stuck to those moments, or we can look at them for what they are, the reality of the moment. As hurtful and damaging as some of these experiences are that you and I experience, it's not to be dictated by them. It's not to be victim to that narrative. Something as simple as once a cheater, always a cheater may be true. It could also be the person doesn't know how to express their wants and their needs appropriately. They don't know how to clearly express themselves and say, this is working, this isn't working. How do I work? How do I learn to express myself clearly, to state a boundary, to be able to communicate effectively and efficiently in my relationships? Because if it's something you don't know how to do, and your immediate thing is to go, okay, I love this. This isn't working for me. I'm just going to go somewhere else and cheat. That's an experience. It's something that you own as your person. The devastation that's left behind is something else. And that's something when a person is cheated on, that person that cheated on you deserves the wrath and vengeance that you might have for that person, in the sense of using your words to state, this was an inappropriate behavior. This is not something I'm going to tolerate. This is not something that I'm going to experience in my life moving forward. And I choose to leave this relationship. If you're choosing to stay in that relationship for whatever reason it is, children, responsibilities, household, mortgage, you can recognize that there was a breakdown in communication. There was a breakdown in mutual respect for one another and looking to do something differently and more harmonious in relationship. That can also be done. It takes a significant amount of work on both parties. It's also being able to lay down that sword and say, I forgive, I move forward from this. How do we build moving forward? And ensuring that it doesn't happen again. Because someone's a serial cheater, there's no you laying down the sword and saying, I will move forward from this and we can work on this and move forward. Because sometimes a serial cheater is a serial cheater. Most of the time, it's a person who doesn't know their boundaries, doesn't express their wants and their needs and desires clearly, doesn't know how to effectively communicate with the other person in the relationship. And they have so many other responsibilities that they don't know how to address it and make this a different situation. Now, in no way am I quantifying or qualifying somebody being disrespectful and unfaithful in a relationship. What I'm stating is that if you were cheated on at some point in your life, and then you get in another relationship and you make that person suffer because of an experience that you had with another person, now that's not right. And that's where it's important to be honest and to be correct with yourself and recognize, this is something I need help moving through. This is something I need to speak to another person to get the tools that I need as a human being to be able to navigate this, process it, and move forward in my relationships. Because every single person you meet is clean to you. And just because you've experienced some kind of traumatic moment in your life does not mean you can project that unprocessed feelings or emotions or experience on another person and punish them for something that they didn't do. And this is what I mean when I say, do you have a sad story? Because each and every one of us have sad stories. The point of this is, what are you doing about it to make you a better person so that you show up better for yourself? Part of adulting is making these hard questions, like assessing yourself and understanding, where does this come from and how can you be better? That investigation into yourself and applying the wisdom that you've learned or you've gained through other sources and applying it to your life so that you show up better, not only for yourself, but everyone else around you. Feminine Spaces, this is what we're talking about. Women, typically over 40, who are looking to have a better understanding, self-discovery, have improved relationship wisdom, and live a conscious life, which means having grace, being completely honest, being intentional in being feminine in how you approach every situation, every moment, every day of your beautiful, most magical life.